We've got Brooklyn, New York in the building. London here. Welcome. Trinidad and Tobago. Welcome. St. Lucia is here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, last week, we had some interesting news when it came to the US and also the Japanese yen. There was big interest rate decision on the Japanese yen. We'll go back and check that out in a bit. Okay. So we had the Japanese yen, the interest rate remained the same. Surprise, surprise. And that would have weakened the yen somewhat. We'll have a look and we'll see. We also had a quite a lot of US news, but the major one was this GDP here, right? Where the GDP quarter to quarter on the first quarter of the year, it was worse than expected. All right. Now they were expecting it to slow down, but not as much as it actually did. So all of those would have an effect, right? Would have an will affect the currency in one way or the next. We also had inflation rate on the Australian and CPI on the Australian as well, which I mean, Australian had some mixed news, but the big ones are the inflation rate here, CPI. So let's see what happened to the US later down in the week. Now, if we look at something like gold was very much sideways, right? Gold was very much sideways for the week. But right here, we were looking for a buy on this GBP USD. In fact, we were looking at it from way down here, right? We were looking at it from way down here. It pushed down and pushed up. And it was all based on all these little news items here. These goods, these jobless claims, right? So it was a bit up and down, like a yo-yo, up and down, right? But again, as I said, the big one is the GDP. And there we could see that because that GDP came in worse than expected, it weakened the US, and we had things like the GBP USD pushing up, like the AUD USD pushing up, the Euro USD pushing up as well, Euro USD. So we were able to catch this GBP USD for the buy. Right, the Euro, well, there was a lot of Euro news last week, right? And that affected the Euro somewhat. It fell, but that US news, we had a bit of a rebound on the Euro because of that US news, right? It's things like the NZD USD as well. That would have pushed up a bit. Oh, that's an old setup. Don't worry about that. Yeah, that would have pushed up. And AUD USD would have pushed up a little bit as well, even though for now the AUD is in a downtrend. The indices, however, had a really serious effect. We were able to catch this SPX here for the buy. We caught it down here. We were looking for a retrace, but it didn't retrace all the way down. I just had a little bit of a pullback and then continued to the upside. Again, US 30, right? All those indices had a dramatic shift because I remember the market is moving because of something that is happening economically or fundamentally in the market, geopolitically in the market. That's why the market is moving, is not because of any indicator or any moving average or any RSI or anything like that, right? So to be able to kind of get a grasp and an understanding of where the market may go from one place to the next, you really got to understand what is happening fundamentally. NAS as well had a big move to the upside. Right here, okay? Big move to the upside. So personally, I think that these are probably going to continue pushing up, right? As always, we've got our command contour to give us our entry levels. So we will get that when the market opens up. One thing we have to remember is tomorrow is a holiday in the UK, all right? So I'm not expecting much movement in the London session. However, the New York session is supposed to be lively. And if we look at the economic calendar for this week, we do have some interesting stuff going on this week. There is the ISM, the PMI for the US, all right? But the big one, well, the big two really, the Australian has interest rate on Tuesday. The US has interest rate on Wednesday. Okay. The Euro has interest rate on Thursday. And this week is non-farm payroll as well. So quite a lot happening with regard to the news. But those are huge news events that could really push things in one direction or the next, right? Now, when it comes to the Japanese yen, for example, right, we could look at our indexes here and we could see, all right, the yen, after that interest rate decision, had a massive tumble, right? This is the yen on its own. Okay. The yen, if you go to a daily time frame, okay. So the yen had a massive tumble during COVID times. It tried to have a little bit of a recovery come November. We had a little bit of a recovery here, but then that recovery seemed to have lost its steam, really. And especially with that interest rate decision, now the yen is seeming to be a very weak currency. Now, remember, the best trades are you're pairing up a weak currency with a strong currency. Okay, those are the best trading ideas. We call that economic divergence. It simply means one economy is doing good, one economy is doing bad. You pair them up against each other. That's your trade. Okay. So I want to keep an eye on the yen pairs, because the yen pairs are potentially going to give us some opportunities. Now let's look at this, for example. We've got the AUD, which is weak. We've got the yen, which is weak. Now you tell me, would that be a good trading opportunity? AUD JPY. Would that be a good trading opportunity? You tell me. Nope. 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 Not at all. Right. So there we go. So immediately we could eliminate even looking at AUD JPY. CAD JPY. Okay. So and remember we're looking at the daily time frame here, right? So CAD has been pretty much choppy from December. It's been sideways movement, right? Till now, really. Okay, it's just been in a range. All right. However, for the last few days, we've seen that CAD is getting a little bit of a recovery. So potentially, we have a trading opportunity on CAD JPY because the CAD is getting a bit stronger, JPY is getting a bit weaker. Yeah, let's go to something like Euro JPY as well. Well, look at that. Well, the Euro had been pushing up like crazy since August. Yeah, that is something. Right, since August, we're seeing a massive recovery here on the Euro. And that doesn't seem to be right. That doesn't seem to be breaking steam at all. And in fact, if we look at this here in February 2022 is when the war started, right? And the euro had a bit of a tumble. But we could see that the recovery has really pushed the euro past that. Okay. So that is an interesting point to note, right? The euro has recovered past the point that it dropped off because of the war. Okay. So again, yeah, something like Euro JPY, there could be some possibilities for price to push up there, right? GBP, well, we could see GBP has been in a serious recovery there as well. So again, GBP, JPY may well be a good opportunity. Let's look at the USD or even the NZD. All right, well, NZD, well, so because NZD has been in a downtrend, right? And we've seen a little bit of a recovery here, but overall is actually trending down. So I wouldn't want to touch that. Something like a GBP, JPY, or a Euro JPY is a bit more exciting for me. Let's see the US. All right, the US has been very choppy. We could see last week it went, or the week before last week, and last week it was really ranging, right? It's going nowhere. So again, USD JPY, although it had a big push up on Friday, the US itself has been very, very indecisive, right? The US pair. So pairs like GBP JPY, Euro JPY, and potentially CAD JPY, maybe the pairs that we want to look at for the coming week. Okay. Remember, the US has interest rate decisions, so I wouldn't necessarily want to do anything there yet until the interest rate decision has been made. Now they're expected it to push a little higher, right? They're expecting the interest rate to go a bit higher. If that happens, it should strengthen up the US just a little bit. But again, would that give it the push that it wants? We have the non-farm payroll, so we need to see the employment figures, whether that comes in, and see how that flows. So at the moment, something like a GBP, JPY, I would continue buying it, right? Oh, geez, look at that, right? So we've been looking to buy that from a long time. Right, so a while back we've been looking to buy it, and we could see here it came down into a zone quite beautifully and pushed up. We had a deeper retracement, right? It's come back down into a command control level here, even to a fair price. So fair price command control level here, that's a zone that we would use for entry as well. Is come back into that and then continue pushing. And you see the patience sometimes that is required. Because imagine being able to hold on to this and hold on to this from since this is when, right? This is the beginning of April. So you're literally holding on for a whole month, right? I mean, and even if you didn't hold on for the whole month, look, I look at you've got opportunities to re-enter the market here because look, we have price come back to a command control level here, it's pushed up. Price tap back into a command control level here, pushed up. Price tap back into a command control level once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, pushed up. Command control level here for the buy, pushed up. Command control level here, pushed up. Command control level here, pushed up. Command control level here, pushed up. We had a bit of a deeper retracement, okay? Once and twice. But eventually on Thursday, this is Thursday and Friday. Thursday, price come back down to a command control level, fair price level here, pushed up, and again, came back down to a fair price command control level here. And we got the big move on Friday. This was because of the interest rate decision, of course, on that Japanese yen that gave us that big move to the upside. So can you imagine holding a trade out for a whole month. And there we have, that's the over 700 and something pips. You know, that's the stage that we want to get at. That's the stage that you want to get at. Not just hopping in and hopping out all the time. Unless you know, you're just going and scalping 10, 15 pips and you have a strategy to deal with that. But holding on to these longer moves will help with your risk management as well, right? But patience is something that is difficult to teach. Patience is something that is difficult to teach. But what I tell people is that we don't get paid in trading for the activities, how active we are in trading. We don't get paid for how accurate we are in trading. We get paid for actually just being right. So sometimes you just have to wait for the opportunity to be right. And that doesn't necessarily come along every day. Okay? So sitting on the hands and waiting is of paramount. And the other thing is, when you're trading, we're trading to be the last man standing and not the first to 1 million. Okay? So defense of your account is way more important than trying to make millions. Okay? So keep that in mind as you press forward. So GBP, JPY to the moon. If I go on a daily here, I'll probably just wait for some sort of a pullback into this level as a support and resistance. Whether it's going to pull back here or not, that's the next question. It's difficult to say whether it's going to pull back here or not. But based on those interest rate decision, I'm going to look for a pullback here and then a continuation to the upside on GBP, JPY, on let's see, Euro JPY. Yeah. Okay. So again, Euro JPY, we were looking for some buying opportunities. This was a while back. We were looking for these for the buy to happen, and it was a bit up and down, to be fair. Price eventually came back into the zone. We hadn't looked at it for a long time, to be fair. But see, the zones are still significant. Came back in and took off like a rocket. Well, again, we're gonna have a command control level somewhere around this area right here, right? Somewhere around there. Come when the market opens. So we'll look for some sort of a pullback into that into that zone, into that area. And then look for this Euro Euro JPY to continue pushing up. Let's look at CAD JPY. Yeah, wow. So that was a serious move as well. And all of this is just because of that interest rate, right? So again, I'm going to be looking for a pullback somewhere within this area and within this zone right here. And then for CAD to continue pushing up. So I'll send out these trades and trade ideas to the subscribers. Right. So just look out for that somewhere within this zone, and we look for a continuation upside. And that's all based on that Japanese yen getting weak. With the US and the US pairs, I wouldn't necessarily do anything until that interest rate decision comes out. This is gonna be interesting. So I'm gonna shift my attention to the Japanese yen pairs, at least for now. Okay. The pound itself is getting strong. And let's see whether we have any sort of economic news. No. Nothing much on the pound this week. So the pound will be sort of reliant on let's see something like a GBP AUD. And a Euro NZD as well. Let's look at Euro NZD. We were looking for buys on Euro NZD earlier this week. All right, well, no, that did not work out, right? We had a strong pullback. The NZD started to get strong. Euro had a little bit of weakness again because of the news that happened last week on Euro. So we could probably start seeing a turn in this Euro NZD because we did have a strong push to the upside here. Right, we did have a strong push to the upside. And now we're starting to see this Euro NZD pulling back a bit. So this one here, we could potentially look for a selling position on this Euro NZD. And I'm looking at my command control levels here and my fair price levels. And I'm going to yes, we have command console on trading view and as well MetaTrader 5, right? MetaTrader 5, not MetaTrader 4. All right. So whichever one you want, you could have. So let's do this. Let's do this one quickly. I'm gonna give you this trade setup on Euro NZD. You could have one or the other. Unless, of course, you want to pay for both. Right. So there we go. Euro NZD, we're looking for a pullback here. This is your trade setup. I'm gonna send that to you in the chat. So be sure to copy this link. Okay, be sure to copy that link for a potential Euro NZD slam. Euro has some serious news as well. The PMI is coming out this week, unemployment rate as well coming out this week on the euro. So definitely keep an eye out for that. Okay. The consensus is that the unemployment rate would have actually gotten better, but we'll see. We'll see. Okay. Gold, let's check out gold. But before gold, right, before gold, US oil, we were looking for it to buy here, right? It bought up into the zone, right? So we look for this, where this buy opportunity is up in a zone here right now. We're gonna wait. We'll have to do a little bit of research on this oil and see what happened over the weekend, and see whether this push to the upside will continue, or whether we're going to have this continuation to the downside, where we started seeing that downtrend come in last week, when we had some news that the supply had increased. Okay. And plus we had a massive gap here when there was news that they were going to cut supply. And there was a massive gap, big push to the upside, but then we saw that actually had this gap has been closed off. Okay. So that's US oil. Gold has been in a range for the last week and a half or so. It hadn't really gone anywhere. And that's because the US hadn't really gone anywhere. Well, the last 2 weeks, really. Right? For the last 2 weeks, gold has not gone anywhere. That's the range that gold has been trading in. And that's because the US has not done anything major. This may well and truly change when that interest rate decision comes out. So watch and be very careful with that. So my attention would not be on any of the US pairs until we start seeing that interest rate decision come through. That's going to be on the 3rd, which is Wednesday, this week coming. So remember, this week we've got a bank holiday in the UK tomorrow, business as usual in the US. And we have the interest rate decision on the US. We also have the non-farm payroll this week. So we have to be vigilant there. Okay. And as always, risk management is your key. We have interest rate decision on the Australian as well, and we have interest rate decision on the euro as well. So this week is quite a lot of interest rate decisions coming up. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, gold has gone nowhere very, very quickly. And in these choppy situations, sometimes better to sit and wait. Now, if I was to take a punt on gold, I would say, all right, we should probably look for a buy opportunity on gold within this zone right here. Okay. If I was to take a punt on gold, I'd say we look for a buy opportunity within this area right here. All right. But if we want to be safe, right? If we want to be safe, I would say let us wait for gold to break out of this zone. Right? If we want to take it to the upside, let's gold break out of this zone here first. Okay. And then we look for some continuations upside like that. Okay. That's how I would play that gold if we want to be a bit safer, on the safer side. All right. I'll leave this with you as well. Right. So we will continue doing a little bit of research, seeing what's happening in all those economies, see who's strong, see who's weak, see who we could pair up against, who to make a good trading opportunity as we start getting some more economic data, as we start getting some geopolitical data coming in. And with that said, we are going to wrap it up for this evening. And I wish you a fantastic evening. Oh, also, we do have our alerts system up and running. All right, so right here, let's see, US oil last week, right? Boom. Right here at 12 o'clock, this one, right? So right here, the alert system says we should be looking at our prices in the buy zone, right, for US oil. Right at 12 o'clock, we got that alert right here. Boom. And you could see, so this is 12 o'clock here, 12 o'clock. See the time? 12 o'clock. Got the alert, 12 o'clock. Should be buying. Boom, the alert system gave us that beautiful buy. Right here, Euro USD, 12 o'clock. It was saying that we should be looking for a buy. All right. So right here, we had it called for the buying. Okay. And there we go, right? Boom. It bought. Let's see here. Was this just before the news? Yes. So some of these were just before the news, and this is why we say beware of your news, because the CAD JPY will give a sell here. Uh, 11. What date was that? Oh, sorry. 28, which was Friday. Okay, yeah. Yeah, so it did say, all right, we're potential sell here, but again, the news just blew that out of the water. Okay. The news blew that out of the water. So we all gotta be careful. GBP, JPY, GBP USD in the buy zone at 10 o'clock right here. Boom. Okay. And then we could see that it shot up. Bought. Okay. GBP CAD. Here it was saying we should be looking for buying opportunities. It's not, it hasn't really gone anywhere. UK 100. It was saying buy here. It was a bit of a drawdown, but eventually it bought. All right, so the alert system is going. All right, so just don't go wild. Remember, you're trading to hit your goals, not to win every single trade. So whatever your goals are, and you hit them, you're done. Right, you're done for the day, done for the week, and come again the next day. Trade to live another day. Okay, so that's it for the minute, and we will see each other again come tomorrow. Once you're part of the Command Contour community. And of course, you could sign up just to get trade setups. You could sign up just to get trade alerts. You could sign up for both, or you could be a part of everything that's happening where we have a live analysis. We look at the news and what's happening in the news. We share news articles, we share market sentiment and all that as well once you're a part of the full deal. Okay, so with that said, have a fantastic evening and we will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye for now.